Hello again. Welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So again, we're over here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. If you live in South Jersey by Deptford, we're of course Philadelphia, Westchester, Pennsylvania, all the way out to say Lancaster to northern Wilmington, which is or Delaware. I'm sorry, northern Delaware, which is Wilmington, Newark area, or Northeast Maryland. Please reach out to us. We just like getting together, having a good time. We used to play in stores. Now we're back in people's basements, but we'll still go to stores. So we're always looking for like-minded individuals. Again, it's to play the game. I think our namesake, without us, they never feel like winners, says it all. Win, lose, or draw, we're out to have a good time. So today we have another Dread Elf game. So Dread Elves versus Dwarven Holds. And sitting by my side again is Ryan.
Hey guys.
So again, my name is Mark. I'm playing the Dwarven Holds. I'm Sir MC 2015 up on the 9th Age boards. And let's see. That's basically it. Reach out to me either on the 9th Age boards. Reach out to me here on YouTube. And we'll definitely try to reach out to you. We'll get back to you. So here's my Dwarven Holds list. This is the same list I just played with Brett. I have no war machines in this list. As a matter of fact, I feel very limited with this list. And after playing so many games against my opponents and hearing some grumbling regarding the organ gun, regarding the flame cannon, I decided to go a different route. So what you see is what you got. My king really didn't change, but I added Chucky, who has Grim Resolve. So for every monster he base contact with, he gains an extra attack. Monster Hunter, so basically if it's monster in his name, he gains multiple wounds 2. He has Rune of Might, so +1 strength. Rune of Haste, so it's +2 initiative. And Rune of Precision, so it's +1 to hit, or lightning. It's +1 to hit. Thane's the same. Runesmith's the same. I took a Runesmith out. My engineer is the same, except he doesn't have a shield. I've got my warriors, my other warriors with great weapons that don't vanguard. My graybeards with shields and champion. My 12 handgunners, my 20 deep watch, and 6 seekers. And I had to laugh because Ryan turned to me after the game that we played and goes, "Why the hell did you have 6 seekers? Why 6?" And do you remember my response?
I think it was just that you did it by accident.
Yeah, because I use Army Builder, and when you hit Champion, Army Builder adds an extra model. It adds the proper amount of points. It's the +10 for the for becoming a champion, +1 for or whatever it is for the model itself. So that was my own dumb way of. So I ended up with 6 Seekers. So here's his Dread Elf list, and this is basically your standard list.
Yeah, it's the list I normally play with. The only change I made was I added Heavens. I kept Shadow. I just took out Alchemy because I felt like I had enough to deal with Knights, and I think Heavens just really helps not only like diminishing ranged threats, but also that attribute is just great for those situations where you just really need a lucky roll.
And I actually played my Equitane list and won a small tournament up in New York. And Heavens was my Magic Lore, and that's won me a bunch of games. Was Heavens and the Ring of Fire, but
yeah, Heavens is a solid lore right now.
Yeah. So turn around, turn 1. If you remember, now last game Ryan and I played, he dropped everything first. He got tired of me getting first turn. So this time I went back and going, no, I still want my first turn right back. So here's a picture after Vanguards, in which case I have no Vanguards, which I usually have a small unit move on up. And you only had 1 unit of Vanguards in this, right? No, they're both there. Yep, I see them.
The one's hiding behind the stone.
Yep. So there's that. And so I have to play aggressive with this list. I just move everything up. Now I put Chucky and his 6 Seekers behind the units because in my mind they have target number 1 written on them. Okay, because of Chucky. I think I used to play Chucky way back when. Back when I was playing dwarves the first time, in which case no one liked Chucky then. Ryan, what was your target number one for your shooting?
I mean, if Chucky was up like in front and he wasn't gonna get like cover and stuff like that, I definitely would have just tried to kill those slayers so I could isolate him and he's on his own. Um, but I mean, being behind that, at that point, I'm just trying to minimize what little shooting you have, which are just the gunners, the guys with the handguns, and then just pick on like some of your chaff units.
All right. So I get the reroll armor saves on them. Or no, it's gleaming. So it's -1 to hit, or it's -1 to wound, something like that. And I had actually moved my gunners up 3 inches so I could actually open fire on the Hydra. And I rolled well because I needed sixes to hit you.
Well, yeah, you rolled well with the guy you needed to because Mark did 1 wound with the regular shots.
Yep.
That snuck through the armor region, which is like, okay, I expect like a wound to go through. I don't care. But his engineer has like that hand rocket or whatever, the hand cannon, and he hits with it, he wounds with it, and it's flaming. And then on top of that, does D3 wounds. So I took all 3 wounds from that too.
Yep. So that put the Hydra already on its last leg, turn 1. Dread Elves, turn 1. You had a buff spell there.
Yeah, so first spell of the game, 3 dice, miscast. I do stars align on my biggest unit of auxiliaries because I want to shoot at his marksman, who just did 4 wounds to my Hydra with the engineer. Let me take them out. I'm gonna give them rerolls to wound. So I should get enough hits through, and then rerolling to wound, I should get several wounds on them and diminish them. So I miscast, and I got like the worst possible roll, which was like a 10. So I lose the spell.
Yep.
So it's the only turn I'm going to get this spell off.
Oh, I loved it because you had a total of 5 spells this game?
Yeah, I had a total of 5 spells, and Mark brings that thing, the devouring. So I knew I was going to lose another spell eventually.
Yep. So I'm like, okay, that's 1 spell I don't have to worry about, and I didn't like that spell to begin with, so I can live with that. Turns around, he kills a couple of them.
Yep. Rerolling to wound did absolutely nothing. It got me no extra wounds.
Nope. And you killed 3. You actually killed more with the other guys.
Yeah, with just like a smaller unit of repeater auxiliaries, I killed 3 graybeards or whatever.
Or that may have been with the bolt throwers helping them.
Let's put it this way. My whole army shot and opened up with everything I had, and it was mediocre at best to plain horrible with that 1 spell off that just didn't do anything.
Well, you remember when 5 graybeards ripped apart your entire army?
Yes, I do. I do with a lot of disdain.
Yeah, I think I need to start painting them. So there is Chucky, so it's Dwarves turn 2. I charge them because they're chaffing me up. And unfortunately, I didn't take a picture of his movement of his entire turn. So I charge them, they flee. And that was really it. So here's how the board looks at the end of my movement phase, where my Deep Watch, I don't know why they're not up further. Oh, yes, I do. I wanted to see what was going on with your BSB. And I had a -1 to hit, I think, on my warriors.
Yes, you did. Mm-hmm.
And I left the Slayers. I didn't move the Slayers up as far because I had to see what was going to be happening. And that was it. I moved up the Greybeards. I moved up the Warriors. And so now it's Dread Elves turn 2. Charge galore. So he rallies his fleeing troops, but that was to be expected. However, he moves his chariot. He moves his Hydra into my big block of Spear Dwarves. He moves his Kraken into the side of the Greybeards. And the reason why I held with that, because of course, they're going to die. I feel like I'm talking about my peasants right now. They're there to die. However, had I fled with them, I felt he would have then charged the flank of my Spear Dwarves with his
With the tower guard.
With the tower guard. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan and I actually spoke as they were flipping through the slides. That's exactly what would have happened.
Yeah, and I mean, coming to this turn, I declared the charge first with the Kraken just to see what Mark's reaction would be, and he was. I think Mark definitely made the right decision there to hold with him, but I mean, it's still not an ideal situation because I put the Hydra and the Chariot in, and then if the Kraken can kill those guys, I'm gonna get to fight that multiple combat with him overrunning into the flank. And I knew the Hydra's going to die, so I just figured, screw it. Let's send him in, let's kill as many of those warriors as possible and maybe break them or whittle them down next turn.
Well, I'm going to show another picture on the next, and I'll better explain a great move that Ryan did. So here's a great set of positioning that Ryan did. He charged in with his chariot first. So the way the rules are is you have to maximize the number of models in the combat. Okay, so you moved in the chariot first, maximizing that one. So that put him touching the one flank and all the way over to the other to the BSB. Then with moving the Hydra into that combat, Hydra just had to touch one model.
Yep, okay? Just the guy on the end.
And he did that. So therefore, all the requirements were met. Great move on Ryan's part. Really smart way of thinking, and he positioned his Kraken because he figured he's going to hit, kill, and maim all the dwarves there after his normal attacks and his thunder stomps. That as long as there's not a single dwarf left, it's running straight ahead. Now, if there was a single dwarf left, he'd be running actually towards his own lines.
Yep.
But that obviously did not happen. So over here, he turns around. He makes mincemeat, of course, of the warriors as expected. And this is the end of the combat. I put 2 wounds on the Kraken, 3 wounds on the Chariot, nothing on the Hydra, and he did 4, 8, 12 wounds.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and that's and so his Hydra whiffed, but then his breath weapon, which automatically hits, killed 8.
Wasn't quite that high, but yeah, it was basically right. His attacks whiffed. The breath weapon made up for it, though. Mark surprisingly didn't kill the Chariot. I thought the Chariot, after impact hits and everything, would just die. He did 3 wounds to it, and then he actually slipped a couple wounds through the Kraken, which I wasn't expecting, because you needed 5s to hit him, and then 6s to wound, but did a couple wounds there. They are steadfast, so they're going to hold, which is kind of what I expected. I knew I'd have to roll well to break them, but now I'm thinking, even with his counter charges, I will get that Warriors unit and kill them, and that's just a unit that I don't have to worry about trying to grind with.
He only had to kill 2 more models. That was it. If he had killed 2 more models, I would have not been steadfast, because monsters still count as having a rank of 1.
Oh, that's true.
So all you had to do is do 2 more wounds. And that was with me having a buff on me. So now it's Dwarves turn 3. Of course, Chucky and his evil insanity charges. And I actually did charge the flank of the Chariot with my King's unit. And I rolled triple 1s. I tried a long bomb charge with my my Whole Guardians, with the my Dwarven Bears, and I rolled like 4. They were nowhere close to reaching those auxiliaries, and that was it. So there's a picture of the failed charge. There's a picture of that failed charge, and I'm going to leave it on this picture for just a second. So next is going to come up combat. Chucky gets in there, and Chucky is initiative 8 he's base 5 attacks, but his weapon counts as a magical hand weapon. Mm-hmm. So now it's 6 attacks. So now he's touching another model. So now that's 7 attacks, needing 3s, because it's a -1 to hit from the Kraken, but a +1 to hit because of his weapon.
Yep.
And strength 7 on the charge.
Yeah.
So he's going to make mincemeat of the Kraken.
Yep. I said goodbye to the Kraken.
The Chariot only had 1 wound left.
Yep.
And that just left the Hydra to turn around and try to do some evil goodness there. So let's see here.
It's gonna be Chucky going first, and then I get a couple attacks with the elves on the chariot, and then the Hydra to just go at it.
End of the day, he killed 5 of my dwarves, and I killed all 3 models. So again, with the number of attacks going up against the Chucky went first, killed the Kraken before the Kraken got to do anything.
Yep.
Then I turn around and got the
your BSB killed the chariot.
BSB killed the chariot, and then I had one guy that could go against the Hydra.
Yep.
I rolled a hit, and then I had to roll a 6 to wound, and I rolled my 6 to wound. And Ryan and I were both like, all right, good job. And we neither one expected him to actually do a wound, much less Ryan not to do his, what was that now, 5 up, 4 up?
Yeah, because you had armor piercing. So I do get a 5 up armor save, and then a 4 up regen, and inevitably, folks, I failed both.
Yeah, so...
So he would have done Thunderstomp still, and I would have broken and eaten that BSB in that unit.
So that was just brutal. Over here, so now it's Dread Elves turn 3.
And now I'm really pissed at that Dwarf Warrior unit because I thought those points were mine completely, and then one guy kills the Hydra. So Mark and I discussed this after the game. I could charge with my BSB and I could charge with the auxiliaries. And I could have just charged the BSB in, but I figured it would be a challenge situation. Okay, I kill his champ. He's just going to stay there. So I'm going to throw the auxiliaries in 2. They're going to go first before the dwarves, kill off a bunch of the dwarves. Gives me a rank, gives me a banner. And then I'll be able to break that unit, and he can't just challenge out. So they both go in. Tower Guard got chaffed up by the Dwarf Warriors, which was a good move on Mark's part, so they have to clear them out.
Chucky.
Oh, yeah.
So I did an overrun with Chucky's unit, so they didn't get shot to living crap. I wanted them just to get closer to the bolt throwers, and instead, they actually turn around and were able to reach the auxiliaries, which to me was great.
Yeah, he rolled a 12.
Fastest dwarves alive. And that's how it looks.
And then in Magic, I actually got a good Magic phase because you used your Dispel Scroll at this point already.
I used it earlier.
Because I tried to lower his... I tried to lower the warrior's toughness.
Last turn.
Mm-hmm. So you were like, nope, scroll, which I completely understand. I got a good Magic phase this time. I put 3 spells on those warriors. Okay, I put Blizzard on them, so they're -1 leadership, -1 to hit. Put Miasma, so they're -1 weapon skill, so now my elves are hitting on 2s. And I put them at -1 toughness. So my elves are now wounding on 4s, and the Mana Core's wounding on 3s. The girl on top, because she has Executioner's Blade, she's wounding on 2s, and yeah.
All right, so we'll get to that combat in just a moment. So one other thing to note with this picture is he charged his fast cavalry into my handgunners, and I chose to flee, which is why they're now facing the right-hand board edge, and they're halfway in the woods. So, and then he shot me from the auxiliaries that I'm running at and killed two of them. And then he shot them again with the bolt throwers and did another wound or something, or reversed that. Close combat, killed all but 4. I'm disappointed I did not kill those 4.
I was surprised too.
And the big combat that he's still a little bitter about. He challenged out with his mage because his mage was touching my BSB.
Yeah, I had to make a decision because unfortunately the mage was in that unit, and I'm like, he's gonna kill her. If I challenge with her, at least if he accepts with the BSB, she'll die, but she absorbs all of his attacks. I'm not losing a rank. I'm not losing a bunch of models. If he accepts with the champ needs to hit me on 5s and then wound me on 4s. Like, she should be fine. So Mark accepts with the champ kills her with 2 attacks. He rolls 2 5s, rolls 2 4s.
No, 2 4s, 2 5s.
kills her. Okay, so that happened. My BSB goes. Now my BSB has 4 attacks with hatred at strength 6. Kills 1 dwarf. Mana core completely whiffs, does nothing.
No, you killed all that was left. You killed the other 4 dwarves.
Yeah, I think the elves killed a couple, and maybe the mana core killed 1.
Yeah, the only reason why the champion's still there is he was in a challenge, and there were dwarves there.
I thought there were more dwarves.
No, I only had I had 6 dwarves.
Yeah, you had 6 dwarves left.
Yeah, and your mana core and your other guy up top went first, and that I never had a chance. You just killed the dwarves, the normal dwarves, and then my BSB was still left standing there. So he kills them. I'm down by 5, or I need to roll a 5. Yeah, I'm down by 5.
Yeah, you're down by 5,
and I roll a 5. So the champ and the BSB are now sticking out in that combat. So now it's dwarves turn 4. Chucky leaves his unit and goes charging into the BSB. The king leaves his unit because they're kind of chaffed up and goes into the unit of auxiliaries in the flank. My whole guardians, which were around the bend there, behind the piece of terrain, still had line of sight to his executioners, and they make that flank charge, and now they're in the flank.
Yeah, my Dark Raiders who were chaffing them couldn't rally the one time. They fled off the board.
And otherwise, I rally my fleeing troops, and I end up taking my unit of Seekers and chaffing up his general. Now, one thing we should note is that when he hit my warriors, if you see, there's still 4 warriors, so when they swung back, I was able to put a wound on his general.
Yep.
So now the Seekers are standing in front of that unit, which you'll see in just a moment when we continue down the slides. So here's that combat there after moving charges, and let's see. That's it. So on to close combat, because again, with this list particularly, I really don't have much in way of magic. I don't even think we hesitated at all with that contest. Chucky was just going to kill your BSB.
Oh, yeah.
And then that took Chucky out of combat. So the rest of the unit kills another 3/6, but they stick because he is steadfast on that unit.
Killed the last warrior.
Yep. My bears turn around and ate the executioners. Then they run away. So Dread Elves turn 4. They're the executioners over by the trees. And what I should have done, this is a mistake on my part. And so we were saying, it's like, oh, well, does he slide over? No, because it's a completely different unit, so he doesn't slide further into the combat. I should have overran after the combat was over. I should have overran into his auxiliaries with Chucky, and that would have kept Chucky alive.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, then it really would have been that much harder.
Yeah, it's a weird rule. Maybe somebody has the answer to this. Because if you're part of the same combat, you're all fighting at the same time, but you go in initiative order, so the one unit kills like part of the unit is no longer touching it. Do they have to stay there, or can they overrun but they just can't fight again until the next turn?
Yeah. So the question isn't do they slide over? That's not the question. The question is I'm fighting that unit. I'm now out of combat, but is it part of the same combat going on, or can I then perform an overrun? The way I think it is the answer is no. Because it's all part of the same combat, you have to wait until the end of combat to do the overrun. So this way, you're not doing that double dip into the same combat.
Right.
And that's kind of how we played it, and those are my thoughts. Over here, there's me chaffing him up, and I believe it's now Dread Elves' turn. Yep, because he ends up charging the Seekers at this point in time. Turns around and they you killed another dwarf. Yeah. You shot me. Then Chucky, poor Chucky, he got shot to living piss out of him. Did you do 2 single shots or
I
you did
did.
a volley?
No, I did 2 single shots with the bolt
Yeah,
throwers.
he hit with both single shots, wounded with both single shots, and that was it.
You ward saved 1, but I rolled, I think, a 5 with the one that wounded.
Yeah, so, sorry, Chuck. So now it's Dwarves' turn 5.
He resurrected, though, to show you guys what turn it was.
Absolutely. So it's my turn, so I'm going to do some charges here. And my King's going to charge 1 bolt thrower. My BSB is going to charge the other bolt thrower. My whole Guardians, which are, I'm just going to call them the Bears. The Bears are going to charge the Tower Guard, and the Deep Watch are going to charge the Executioners. That's it. I'm running out of stuff on the board.
Oh, and Squidward, my general took another wound from
Yeah.
the Slayers.
Because the Slayers have that rule that they'll always be able to swing when they die. So, but with only 1 attack. So I turn around, I'm like, 1's going against your general. I hit because I have hatred, so I hit him, and then I wounded him, and he failed his armor save.
Yep. A couple cheap wounds through a 1-up save. What are you gonna do?
And that's it. So that's it after my movement. Let's see. Again, just showing you all the charges there in the middle of the board. And I think I killed your fast cav with that unit.
Yep, you killed the fast cav.
Yep.
They were threatening them.
Yep, so just completely obliterated them with some good Dwarven shooting. Over here, Squidward did his job. I mean, he took out 2 bears, and then the rest of the unit killed another bear. But I did 1 wound to Squidward.
Yep.
And that was enough to do him.
Yep, I needed a 4-up armor save. Nope. I needed Heaven's Magic at so many points in this game. Just didn't happen.
Yep, and then that was it. And so now that's going to become a grind. Of course, won that one. Dread Elves, turn 5. That's all he's got left are the auxiliaries and his Tower Guard. And he turns around and kills all but my unit champion. I will go back just a few quick picks. So let's see, where is it? Oh, here's one. So you see where the Deep Watch are against his Executioners. I kill them easily enough, and I overrun. And that's the thing, is I didn't think I was going to overrun quite as much as what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And because I just want to make sure I was in that flank, I ran a 12. And
right.
that put me completely out of charge range. Life happens. So they shot past. So now let me go fast forward again. So kills all but 1. Kills another bear, and I kill more of his Tower Guard. I think I'm winning combat.
I don't know.
Well,
maybe
regardless, we both
help.
stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless. And again, I think he shoots another couple of my guys, and so they die. Dwarves turn 6. My king goes into the flank. My BSB goes into that unit auxiliaries. My Deep Watch are getting closer to the other unit auxiliaries, and that's it. Close combat. I kill all but his champion, but his Tower Guard killed the rest of the bears. So, Ryan, what are your thoughts? Because you've mentioned before you prefer Executioners over Tower Guard. And I've always said I like Tower Guard. How are your feelings now?
I mean, Tower Guard are amazing, especially with that banner, because I gave them the banner of blood, so they're rerolling 1s and 2s to wound. However, I still think the Tower Guard, the one advantage they have, why you play them, is because they're the one unit in the Dread Elf army that you can actually rely on to hold when they're charged, because they have Bodyguard. That's really what defines them. If those bears were fighting Executioners, those bears, I think, would have been dead a lot quicker, because they're such high strength. I'm hitting you on 3s with Hatred.
Yep.
So, and then they have Lethal Strike on top of it.
Yep.
Not that they really need it, but, and if they were kit out that way, I think they would have done as much, if not more damage. But no, the Tower Guard impressed me. I still will definitely take them. Especially if I'm going with a 20-man unit that's a little cheaper, I'm definitely going to keep the Tower Guard.
All right, so of course my BSB makes easy mincemeat out of that. So it's Dread Elf's turn 6. King turns around, eats the final Dread Elf, so all he has left is the 1 unit of auxiliaries at this point in time.
Yep, and I thought I could march them in to get the objective, and I think I was like a quarter of an inch out or something. I was just out. So they just shot the last warrior to get that unit.
So it ends up being a 16-4 Dwarven holds victory. So, I mean, the list played well. It's just not my style list. It's very it's a one-dimensional list. It will work. I can see it. I can make it a little bit more fluffy. You know, give it a little bit more story behind it. But it's not my style.
It felt like you were missing something. For sure, like you like some of the other toys that you normally.
Yeah, I had only had 2 spells to play with. Which case I always like having 2 casters.
Yeah.
I had almost no shooting to speak of whatsoever.
I mean, it worked. It ended up working out.
Yeah, it did, but it just wasn't my play style. So here are our MVPs. Warriors. Got to give it to the Warriors. They killed the Chariot. They killed the Hydra. And they survived the Kraken to allow Chucky in to kill the Kraken. And then they held up the auxiliaries with the BSB to allow Chucky to come in and kill the BSB.
And then the champion killed my mage.
And the champion killed the mage. So yeah, even though the Warriors were not there at the end of the game, Warriors are my MVP.
They were blessed. Yeah. That's for sure. They took a beating upon beating, and for some reason they wouldn't just die or break or anything. I could not have played that unit any better, and they just wouldn't go away.
They're dwarves, come on. And the Dread Elves, I have to give it to Tower Guard. I like you. They impressed me. They were wounding a toughness 5 box unit. That's a 375 point unit, and they were doing the damage. So got to give it there to the Tower Guard. And that's it. So again, any questions, concerns, comments, please feel free to post. We'll definitely get back to you in a timely manner. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye.